Hello, guys and gals. Cowboy Star coming back at you. That's right, we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Before I get started with this video, I'd like to remind you all to be sure and subscribe to the channel, as well as like the video and then hit that notification bell. Well, as suspected, the Cowboys have lost for a fifth straight time, really a sixth straight time, because they lost the playoff game to Green Bay last year at home, and by the score of 34-10 to the dreaded Texans. So the Cowboys were in the game most of the first half, but turnovers once again, not again, a game, have wreaked havoc for the Cowboys. Uh, I don't guess Mike McCarthy's teaching his linemen to just fall on a fumble when he sees a fumble. That's the second straight game in a row that a lineman has tried to pick up a fumble and run with it, and then it gets knocked out of their hands and ran the other direction by the other team to the house. So that's pretty much the Cowboys could not get out of their own way once again in this game. Our O line is atrocious. We're not physical enough, really, for that matter, on the D line and the O line. Uh, Zach Martin is a shadow of himself, a shell of himself. He got beat three straight times on a swim move, and that's unheard of for Zach Martin. I don't know if he's injured or if Father Time's just caught up with him, but I'm sure this is going to be his last season with the Cowboys. Terrence Steele still looks pitiful. Uh, Looked like he was on a dance floor out there. Uh, the guy that he was trying to block just kept on spinning around him just about every play, and Cooper Rush was under siege the whole game. He got sacked 5 times. It is just a comedy of errors, folks. Not what you would expect on a coach that is in a lame duck season, needing to get his contract renewed. Of course, we do have a lot of injuries, but some of these pre-snap penalties and penalties that we're getting and lack of performance makes you wonder if the team is quitting on McCarthy, and makes you wonder if he's even coaching up the team like he's supposed to be. Uh, you got a bunch of linemen that are just getting manhandled on the offensive line. We need to get some big hogs in there next year, and hopefully they'll draft a couple. And the only offensive lineman that I would even think about keeping is maybe Cooper Beebe. I know that he's never been a center, and this is his first year as a center, so I'd probably give him another go next year, unless they have somebody else in mind or end up putting Trevor Hoffman in there at center. And Tyler Smith is the only other offensive lineman that I'd even consider keeping next year. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, uh, about if the new coach takes over, what players that he'd probably want to keep off this team, and there's not too many. Uh, Rush really could have had 3 more interceptions than he did have, and they were all 3 dropped. Stingley dropped one, and the other defensive back, I can't remember his name for the Texans, but he dropped one, and one of their linebackers dropped an interception. That was just, they had nothing but green field in front of them. So the score really could have been a lot worse. But the Cowboys, and this is a cardinal rule that I would always adhere to. I don't care what the statistics say, or you never take points off the board, and that's exactly what the Cowboys did uh, early in the second quarter. They drove it down there, couldn't get it in, and ended up kicking a field goal. And then there was a penalty by the Texans, which gave them an automatic first down, and he took the points off the board, which in that time of the game they would have only been down by 7 points, if they would have kicked that field goal. So it is what it is. Just a lot of bonehead decisions by the coaching staff. Another fake punt blunder. early in the game, which gave them another touchdown. They were in our end of the field too, and it was in our end of the field, and they tried this. Our punter cannot pass the ball. In number one, in the first place, he should never even attempt to pass the ball. If you're gonna do that, just go for it. I mean, just try to go for it. It was third and like 8, and they tried this fake punt. I could see if it was 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 4. No, it was 3rd and 8, and they tried a fake punt in our own end of the field. Of course, he caught the ball this time, but he just flittered it up there. Looked like a butterfly. It finally came down. By the time it came down, the guy caught it. He was already tackled immediately. So just poor execution on that. I wish they'd throw that play down the toilet because that's not working for the Cowboys. But I only see about 7 or 8 players that the Cowboys' new coach would probably want to keep next season, and I'll go over those toward the end of the video. But it's really time to rebuild this team. Jerry has let this team get all the way down to the bare bones. He let all of our depth go to mainly to Washington. Washington picked up a lot of our depth pieces. And like I said, Jerry thinks the team is good right now is the other problem. He thinks we have enough firepower to win this division right now. And that's where he comes, he's totally lost on that. There's no way this team is good enough. It's time to rebuild. Don't see it improving because Jerry won't want to spend the dollars needed in free agency. He's not going to want to spend what it takes to build his team back up. He's only going to want to go by with the draft to try to patch these holes, and there's not enough draft picks that could patch his holes. Not rookies. I don't see that happening. He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, and he wants all the credit. And those two things just don't jive when it comes to building a team. Jerry needs to step back, just relinquish all this general manager control that he has, and really. But I wonder if it would even be any better, if Steven was in charge. I kind of doubt it. It's like father, like son. I don't think it's going to be any better with Steven. He's even tighter than Jerry is. But he's let the team go down too far. The Cowboys have set a record. They've lost 6 games in a row by more than 20 points. That's an NFL record. So the Cowboys are on a track downward right now, and we don't know when they're going to come out of this downward spiral. Maybe next year. I don't see us winning another game unless we somehow, some way beat the Giants on Thanksgiving Day. That's the only game on the schedule I see that we could possibly win. But you can go to the first play of the game. How in the hell do you give up an 80-yard play on the first damn play of the game to the wide receiver who was for the Texans all the way down the field? Luckily, there was a penalty, and it called it back. It could have been a lot worse. This could have been a 50-burger on the Cowboys, the way they make mistakes and step on their own feet, to shoot yourself in the foot. Jerry he's always blamed the coaches up from a long way back, all the way back to Phillips, Wade Phillips. He fired him. And then who was it? It was Kiffin. He fired Kiffin. And Mike Nolan came on the scene. He got rid of Mike Nolan, defensive coordinator. And he used Chris Richard as a scapegoat. He was gone. Then Rod Marinelli. Rod Marinelli was another one that he let go. Even Kellen Moore, who is now with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's always had coaches to blame. But now it's really down to no one but Jerry Jones. He's the last man standing. And everybody in Cowboy Nation knows he's to blame. Him and Steven. For the way this team is right now currently constructed. It's horrible. We've been waiting 30 years, and to me, this proves it. Jerry is not interested in winning another Super Bowl. He doesn't care. As long as he's getting the money coming in, he's making billions off these fights, millions off these fights. He's got people buying tickets. He's got people buying gear. He's got people buying food. He's got people constantly talking about the Cowboys. As long as that's happening, he's going to continue the status quo. He's not going to spend any money. Now, the talk is that Bill Belichick is one of the favorites to be the new Cowboys head coach, if not Deion Sanders. I don't see that happening. But I don't really see Belichick being the coach because he's going to say, I can't do anything with this team you've got currently constructed. And if you won't go out and spend the money to build this team back up, he goes, I can look at the film and tell you exactly what you need. But Jerry would have to take a back seat to Bill, and he's not going to do that. He's not going to let Bill take the credit, especially after all these years of a drought where the Cowboys never made it to the Super Bowl. He's sure not going to bring in Bill Belichick and let him win a Super Bowl, and that's going to make Jerry look bad. Just like he got let go of all those coaches. Well, he can't let go of the players because he drafted the players. That's another thing that would make him look bad. So, folks, if y'all don't see this pattern of what's going on, you're just not looking. This is exactly what's going on with the Cowboys, and it's been going on for a long time. And until we get Jerry Jones and finally relinquishes his hold on the Cowboys, it's not going to change. And that's what I was saying about how it's hard to be a Cowboy fan and a Cowboy YouTuber right now because of the way Jerry Jones does this fan base. It's pitiful. Now, the league could start flexing some of the Cowboys' games because, the Cowboys supposedly supposed to be America's team at the beginning of the year. A lot of these games looked a lot different than they do now. Well, the Cowboys have another game scheduled on Monday night against the Cincinnati Bengals. And a lot of people thought that game might be flexed because both of the teams have a bad record. But it can't be flexed because they have a show that is coming on about the Simpsons. The Simpsons cast is going to be doing that game, and there's no way that they can cancel that game and change that game. So the Cowboys just luck it out. They're still in the limelight there. I tell you, it's just really getting to be a comedy of errors here with the Cowboys. Everything they touch seems to turn to you know what. But I was thinking about the 7 or 8 players that Belichick, if he took over, would probably want to keep. And that would be Dak, which he really has no choice. Dak and CD, they're already signed long term. Micah, Diggs, Tyler Smith, Deron Bland, and Brandon Aubrey. You're looking at, that's probably all the players that I can think of that on the team. And maybe one or two more, but I just don't see too many more that's currently on this team that he would want to keep. Well, that means that Jerry Jones would have to really do some spending to get this team built back up. So that's pretty much all I got for you right now. The wheels are turning in Cowboy land, folks. Everybody's talking about how Jerry Jones has torn this team down this year. And I kind of feel sorry for Mike McCarthy, although he has made a lot of errors himself and has a lot of blame on his shoulders, not near as much blame as Jerry Jones has. With that being said, don't forget to subscribe. We'll catch you guys later. I'm out.